Continuing coverage of the legislative session as we enter week 2, fraud continues to take the spotlight. This time we have a possible roadmap to addressing the widespread deception across Minnesota programs. Our Lou Raguse joins us now from the newsroom. Lou?
Rena, this roadmap comes from Governor Walz's appointed Director of Program Integrity, Tim O'Malley, the same day as the Legislative Fraud Committee met with some alarming red flags coming from the state's autism program.
Good morning.
From the legislature's Fraud Prevention Committee.
Why aren't they held accountable yet?
To the governor's Director of Program Integrity.
We need to hold accountable commissioners, mid-level supervisors, and frontline workers.
The question of accountability continues to follow both the investigations into fraud in Minnesota's social service programs and the plans to fix and prevent fraud moving forward.
I think there has been inadequate accountability for some.
Tim O'Malley released his 57-page report he calls a roadmap to program integrity and fraud prevention. Similar to what the state's legislative auditor recently told KARE 11, O'Malley says there needs to be a cultural shift among state workers overseeing the programs to understand it's their job to ensure taxpayer money is properly spent.
And I think there became a mindset of our job is more based on compassion than compliance, and that's misplaced.
Within the state's EIDBI program, known as Autism Services, it was revealed at this morning's committee hearing that fraud occurred and was unable to be caught, in part because the legislature created the program without requiring providers to be licensed. DHS Commissioner Shireen Godney says other programs have that in common.
I don't think anybody intentionally tried to design them without these controls, but of the 14 high-risk programs, about 5 are licensed.
As DHS moves to require licenses of the 500 autism centers, Inspector General James Clark revealed an astounding figure that calls into question how many providers are legitimate. Only 6 of the 500 autism centers have applied to be licensed so far.
Unless this gets cleaned up and really cleaned up, and fast, there's going to be a push probably to get rid of this program.
Now, Tim O'Malley says the structural problems allowing fraud in Minnesota go back decades, as a staggering amount of warnings and suggestions were made without them being implemented. That's why he says one of the most important things that the state needs is an independent monitor to ensure that these steps get put into action now. Rena?
Lou, what kind of authority will Tim O'Malley have?
Well, Tim O'Malley's job is essentially done. His job was to create this report with all the research that he did over the last couple months. He now has given the report to the legislature and to the governor, and now it's in their hands. The legislature will need to pass some laws, and the governor can do some executive actions to get some of these things put in place, if they decide to go down the road of everything that he suggests.
All right, Lou. Thank you.